Chapter 6 Anatomy of Flowering Plants. You can very easily see the structural similarities and variations in the external morphology of the larger living organism, both plants and animals. Similarly, if we were to study the internal structure, one also finds similarities as well as differences. This chapter introduces you to the internal structure and functional organization of higher plants. Study of internal structure of plants is called anatomy. Plants have cell as the basic unit. Cells are organized into tissues and in turn the tissues are organized into organs. Different organs in a plant show differences in their internal structure. Within angiosperms, the monocots and the dicots are also seen to be anatomically different. Internal structure also show adaptations to diverse environment. 6.1 The tissues. A tissue is a group of cells having a common origin and usually performing a common function. A plant is made up of different kinds of tissues. Tissues are classified into two main groups, namely meristematic and permanent tissues, based on whether the cell being formed are capable of dividing or not. 6.1.1 Meristematic tissues. Growth in plants is largely restricted to a specialized region of active cell division called meristem. Plants have different kinds of meristem. The meristems which occur at the tip of roots and shoot and produce primary tissues are called apical meristem. Root apical meristem occupy the tip of root while the shoot apical meristem occupies the distant most region of the stem axis. During the formation of leaves and elongation of stem, some cells left behind from shoot apical meristem constitute the axillary bud. Such buds are present in the axils of leaves and are capable of forming a branch or a flower. The meristem which occur between the mature tissues is known as intercalary meristem. They occur in grasses and regenerate part removed by grazing herbivores. Both apical meristem and intercalary meristems are primary meristems because they appear early in a life of plant and contribute to the formation of the primary plant body. The meristem that occurs in the mature region of roots and shoots of many plants, particularly those that produce woody axis and appear later than primary meristem, is called the secondary or lateral meristem. They are cylindrical meristems. Fascicular vascular cambium, interfascicular cambium, and cork cambium are examples of lateral meristem. These are responsible for producing the secondary tissue. Following divisions of cells in both primary and as well as secondary meristems, the newly formed cell becomes structurally and functionally specialized and lose the ability to divide. Such cells are termed permanent or mature cell and constitute the permanent tissues. During the formation of primary plant body, specific region of the apical meristem produce dermal tissues, ground tissues and vascular tissues. 6.1.2 Permanent tissues. The cells of the permanent tissues do not generally divide further. Permanent tissues having all cells similar in structure and function are called simple tissues. Permanent tissues having many different types of cell are called complex tissues. 6.1.2.1 Simple tissues. A simple tissue is made up of only one type of cell. The various simple tissues in plants are parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Parenchyma forms the major component within organ. The cells of the parenchyma are generally isodiametric. They may be spherical, oval, round, polygonal or elongated in shape. Their walls are thin and made up of cellulose. They may either be closely packed or have small intercellular spaces. The parenchyma perform various functions like photosynthesis, storage, secretion. The collenchyma occurs in layers below the epidermis in most of the dicotyledonous plants. It is found either as a homogeneous layer or in patches. It consists of cells which are much thicker at the corner due to deposition of cellulose, hemicellulose and pectin. Collenchymatous cell may be oval, spherical or polygonal and often contain chloroplast. These cells assimilate food when they contain chloroplast. Intercellular spaces are absent. They provide mechanical support to the growing parts of the plant such as young stem and petiole of a leaf. Sclerenchyma consists of a long, narrow cells with thick and lignified cell walls having a few or numerous pits. They are usually dead and without protoplasm. On the basis of variation in form, structure, origin, and development, sclerenchyma may be either fibers or sclerids. The fibers are thick-walled, elongated and pointed cells generally occurring in group in various parts of the plants. The sclerids are spherical, oval, or cylindrical, highly thickened dead cells with very narrow cavities or lumen. These are commonly found in the fruit wall of nuts, pulp of fruits like guava, pear, and sapota, seed coats of legumes, and leaves of tea. Sclerenchyma provides the mechanical support to organs. 6.1.2.2 Complex tissues. The complex tissues are made up of more than one type of cells, and these work together as a unit. Xylem and phloem constitute the complex tissue in plants. Xylem functions as a conducting tissue for water and minerals from roots to the stem and leaves. It also provides mechanical support to plant parts. It is composed of four different kinds of elements, namely tracheids, vessels, xylem fiber, and xylem parenchyma. Gymnosperm lacks vessels in their xylem. Tracheids are elongated or tube-like cell with thick and lignified wall and tapering end. These are dead and are without protoplasm. The inner layer of the cell walls have which vary in form. In flowering plants, tracheid and vessels are the main water transporting element. Vessel is a long cylindrical tube-like structure made up of many cells called vessel members, each with lignified walls and a large central cavity. The vessel cells are also devoid of protoplasm. Vessel members are interconnected through perforation in their common walls. The presence of vessel is a characteristic feature of angiosperm. Xylem fiber have a highly thickened wall and an obliterated central lumen. These may either be septate or aseptate. Xylem parenchyma cells are living and thin-walled, and their cell walls are made up of cellulose. They store food material in the form of starch or fat and other substances like tannin. The radial conduction of water takes place by the ray parenchymatous cell. Primary xylem is of two types, protoxylem and metaxylem. The first form primary xylem elements are called protoxylem, and the latter form primary xylem is called metaxylem. In stem, the protoxylem lies towards the center or pith, and the metaxylem lies toward the periphery of the organ. This type of primary xylem is called endark. In roots, the protoxylem lies toward the periphery and metaxylem lies towards the center. Such arrangement of primary xylem is called exarch. Phloem transport food material usually from leaf to the other part of the plants. Phloem in angiosperm is composed of sieve tube element, companion cell, phloem parenchyma, and phloem fiber. Gymnosperms have albuminous cell and sieve cells. They lack sieve tubes and companion cells. Sieve tube elements are long, tube-like structure arranged longitudinally and associated with companion cell. Their end wall are perforated in a sieve-like manner to form sieve plate. A mature sieve element possesses a peripheral cytoplasm and a large vacuole but lacks a nucleus. The function of sieve tubes are controlled by the nucleus of the companion cells. The companion cells are specialized parenchymatous cells which are closely associated with the sieve tube element. The sieve tube element and companion cell are connected by pit field present between their common longitudinal wall. The companion cell helps in maintaining in the sieve tube. Phloem parenchyma is made up of elongated tapering cylindrical cells which have dense cytoplasm and nucleus. The cell wall is composed of cellulose and has pit through which plasmodesmatal connection exist between the cells. The phloem parenchyma stores food material and other substances like resin, latex, and mucilage. Phloem parenchyma is absent in most of the monocotyledons. Phloem fiber or bast fibers are made up of sclerenchymatous cell. These are generally absent in the primary phloem but are found in the secondary phloem. These are much elongated, unbranched, and have pointed needle-like apices. The cell wall of phloem fiber is quite thick. At maturity, these fibers lose their protoplasm and become dead. Phloem fiber of jute, flax, and hemp are used commercially. The first from primary xylem consists of a narrow sieve tube and is referred to as protoploem, and the later form phloem has a bigger sieve tube and is referred to as metaploem. 6.2 The tissue system. We were discussing types of tissues based on the type of cells present. Let us now consider how tissues vary depending on their location in the plant body. Their structure and function would also be dependent on the location. On the basis of their structure and location, there are three types of tissue system. These are the epidermal tissue system, the ground or fundamental tissue system, and the vascular or conducting tissue system. 6.2.1 Epidermal tissue system. The epidermal tissue system forms the outermost covering of the whole plant body and comprises the epidermal cell, stomata, and epidermal appendages, the trichome and hair. The epidermis is the outermost layer of it is made up of elongated, compactly arranged cells which forms a continuous layer. Epidermis is usually single layered. Epidermal cells are parenchymatous with a small amount of cytoplasm lining the cell wall and a large vacuole. The outside of the epidermis is often covered with a waxy layer called a cuticle which prevents the loss of water. Cuticle is absent in roots. Stomata are the structure present in the epidermis of the leaves. Stomata regulate the process of transpiration and gaseous exchange. Each stoma is composed of two bean-shaped cells known as guard cells, which in stomatal pore. In grasses, the guard cells are dumbbell-shaped. The outer walls of the guard cell away from the stomatal pore are thin and inner walls towards the stomatal pore are highly thickened. The guard cell possesses chloroplast and regulate the opening and closing of stomata. Sometimes a few epidermal cells in the vicinity of a guard cell become specialized in their shape and size and are known as subsidiary cells. The stomatal aperture, the guard cell, and surrounding subsidiary cell are together called stomatal apparatus. The cells of epidermis bear a number of hairs. The root hairs are unicellular elongation of the epidermal cell and help absorb water and mineral from the soil. On the stem, the epidermal hairs are called trichome. The trichomes in the shoot system are usually multicellular. They may be branched or unbranched and soft or stiff. They may even be secretory. The trichomes help in preventing water loss due to transpiration. 6.2.2 The ground tissue system. All tissue except epidermis and vascular bundle constitute the ground tissue. It consists of simple tissues such as parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Parenchymatous cells are usually present in the cortex, pericycle, pith, and medullary rays, and in primary stem and roots. In leaves, the ground tissue consists of a thin-walled chloroplast containing cell and is called mesophyll. 6.2.3 The vascular tissue system. The vascular tissue system consists of complex tissue, the phylum and the xylem. The xylem and phloem together constitute vascular bundle. In dicotyledonous stem, cambium is present between phloem and xylem. Such vascular bundle, because of the presence of cambium, possesses the ability to form secondary xylem and phloem tissues, hence are called open vascular bundle. In monocotyledons, the vascular bundle have no cambium present in them. Since they do not form secondary tissues, they are referred to as closed. When xylem and phloem within a vascular bundle are arranged in an alternate manner along the different radii, the arrangement is called radial, such as in roots. In conjoined type of vascular bundle, the xylem and phloem are jointly situated along the same radius of the vascular bundle. Such vascula are common in stem and leaves. The conjoint vascular bundle usually have the phloem located only on the outer side of the xylem. Point 3 Anatomy of dicotyledonous and monocotyledonous plant. For a better understanding of tissue, organization of roots, stem, and leaves, it is convenient to study the transverse section of mature zone of these organs. 6.3.1 Dicotyledonous root. Look at the figure 6.6a. It shows the transverse section of sunflower root. The internal tissue organization is as follows. The outermost layer is epiblemma. Many of the cells of epiblemma protrude in the form of unicellular root hair. The cortex consists of several layers of thin-walled parenchyma cell with intercellular spaces. The innermost layer of cortex is called endodermis. It comprises a single layer of barrel-shaped cells without any intercellular spaces. The tangential as well as radial wall of the endodermal cells have a deposition of water impermeable waxy material suberin in the form of Casperin strip. Next to the endodermis lies a few layers of thick-walled parenchymatous cell referred to as pericycle. Initiation of lateral root and vascular cambium during the secondary growth takes place in these cells. The pith is small or inconspicuous. The parenchymatous cells which lie between the xylem and phloem are called conjunctive tissue. These are usually 2 to 4 xylem and phloem patches. Later, a cambial ring develops between the xylem and phloem. All the tissue on the inner side of endodermis such as pericycle, vascular bundle, and pith constitute the stele. 6.3.2 Monocotyledonous root. The anatomy of monocot root is similar to dicot root in many respects. It has epidermis, cortex, endodermis, pericycle, vascular bundles, and pith. As compared to the dicot root which have fewer xylem bundle, they are usually more than 6 xylem bundle in the monocot root. Pith is large and well developed. Monocotyledons root do not undergo any secondary growth. 6.3.3 Dicotyledonous stem. The transverse section of a typical young dicotyledonous stem shows that epidermis is the outermost protective layer of the stem covered with a thin layer of cuticle. It may bear trichomes and a few stomata. The cells arranged in a multiple layer between epidermis and pericycle constitute the cortex. It consists of 3 subzones. The outer hypodermis consists of a few layers of collenchymatous cell just below the epidermis, which provide mechanical strength to the young stem. Cortical layer below hypodermis consists of a rounded, thin-walled parenchymatous cells with conspicuous intercellular spaces. The innermost layer of the cortex is called endodermis. The cells of the endodermis are rich in starch grain and the layer is also referred to as starch sheath. Pericycle is present on the inner side of the endodermis and above the phloem in the form of semilunar patches of sclerenchyma. In between the vascular bundle there are few layers of radially placed parenchymatous cell which constitute medullary rays. A large number of vascular bundles are arranged in a ring. The ring arrangement of vascular bundle is a characteristic of dicot stem. Each vascular bundle is conjoint, open and with endark protoxylem. A large number of rounded parenchymatous cells with large intercellular spaces which occupy the central portion of the stem constitute the pith. 6.3.4 Monocotyledonous stem. The monocot stem has a sclerenchymatous hypodermis, a large number of scattered vascular bundles, each surrounded by a sclerenchymatous bundle sheath and a large conspicuous parenchymatous ground tissue. Vascular bundles are conjoint and closed. Peripheral vascular bundles are generally smaller than the centrally located ones. The phloem parenchyma is absent. Water containing cavities are present within the vascular bundle. 6.3.5 Dorsoventral or dicotyledonous leaf. The vertical section of a dorsoventral leaf through the lamina show 3 main parts, namely epidermis, mesophyll and vascular system. The epidermis, which covers both the upper surface adaxial epidermis and the lower surface abaxial epidermis of the leaf, has a conspicuous cuticle. The abaxial epidermis generally bear more stomata than the adaxial epidermis. The latter may even lack stomata. The tissue between the upper and the lower epidermis is called the mesophyll. Mesophyll, which possesses chloroplast and carry out photosynthesis, is made up of parenchyma. It has 2 types of cells, the palisade parenchyma and spongy parenchyma. The adaxially placed palisade parenchyma is made up of elongated cells which are arranged vertically and parallel to each other. The oval or round and loosely arranged spongy parenchyma is situated below palisade cells and extend to the lower epidermis. There are numerous large spaces and air cavity between their cells. Vascular system include vascular bundle which can be seen in the veins and the midrib. The size of the vascular bundle are dependent on the size of the vein. The veins vary in the thickness and in the reticulate venation of dicot leaves. The vascular bundle are surrounded by a layer of thick-walled bundle sheath cell. Look at the figure 6.8a and find the position of xylem in the vascular bundle. 6.3.6 Isobilateral or monocotyledonous leaf. The anatomy of isobilateral leaf is similar to that of the dorsoventral leaf in many ways. It shows the following characteristic differences. In an isobilateral leaf, the stomata are present on the both surface of the epidermis, and mesophyll is not differentiate into palisade and spongy parenchyma. In grasses, certain adaxial epidermal cells along the vein modify themselves into a large empty colorless cell. These are bulliform cells. When bulliform cells in the leaves have absorbed water and are turgid, the leaf surface is exposed. When they are flaccid due to water stress, they make the leaf curl inwards to minimize their water loss. The parallel venation in monocot leaves is reflected in the near similar sizes of vascular bundle except in main veins, as seen in vertical section of leaves. 6.4 Secondary growth. The growth of the root and stem in length with the help of apical meristem is called primary growth. Apart from primary growth, most monocotyledonous plants exhibit an increase in girth. This increase is called secondary growth. The tissue involved in the secondary growth are the two lateral meristem, vascular cambium and cork cambium. 6.4.1 Vascular cambium. The meristematic layer that is responsible for cutting off vascular tissue, xylem and phloem is called vascular cambium. In young stem, it is present in patches and as a single layer between the xylem and phloem. Later, it forms a complete ring. 6.4.1.1 Formation of cambial ring. In dicot stem, the cells of cambium present between primary xylem and primary phloem is the intrafascicular cambium. The cells of medullary rays adjoining these intrafascicular cambium become meristematic and form the interfascicular cambium. Thus, a continuous ring of cambium is formed. 6.4.1.2 Activity of the cambial ring. The cambial ring becomes active and begins to cut off new cells, both towards the inner and outer side. The cells cut off towards pith mature into secondary xylem, and the cell cut off towards periphery mature into secondary xylem. The cambium is generally more active on the inner side than on the outer. As a result, the amount of secondary xylem produced is more than secondary phloem and soon forms a compact mass. The primary and secondary phloem get gradually crushed due to continued formation and accumulation of secondary xylem. The primary xylem, however, remains more or less intact in or around the center. At some places, cambium forms a narrow band of parenchyma which passes through the secondary xylem and secondary phloem in the radial direction. These are secondary medullary rays. 6.4.1.3 Springwood and autumnwood. The activity of cambium is under control of many physiological and environmental factors. In temperate region, the climatic conditions are not uniform through the year. In the spring season, cambium is very active and produces a large number of xylem elements having vessels with wider cavities. The wood formed during this season is called spring wood or early wood. In winter, the cambium is less active and forms fewer xylem elements that have narrow vessel, and this wood is called autumn wood or late wood. The spring wood is lighter in color and has a lower density, whereas autumn wood is dark and has a higher density. The two kinds of wood that appear as alternate concentric rings constitute an annual ring. Annual rings seen in a cut stem give an estimate of the age of the tree. 6.4.1.4 Heartwood and sapwood. In old trees, the greater part of secondary xylem is dark brown, due to deposition of organic compound like tannins, resin, oil, gums, aromatic substances, and essential oils in the central or innermost layer of the stem. These substances make it hard, durable, and resistant to the attacks of microorganisms and insects. This resin comprises dead elements with highly lignified walls and is called heartwood. The heartwood does not conduct water, but it gives mechanical support to the stem. The peripheral region of the secondary xylem is lighter in color and is known as sapwood. It is involved in the conduction of water and mineral from root to leaf. 6.4.2 Cork cambium. As the stem continues to increase in girth due to the activity of vascular cambium, the outer cortical and epidermis layer get broken and need to be replaced to provide new protective cell layer. Hence, sooner or later, another meristematic tissue called cork cambium or phyllogen develops, usually in the cortex region. Phyllogen is a couple of layers thick. It is made up of narrow, thin-walled and nearly rectangular cells. Phyllogen cuts off the cells on both sides. The outer cells differentiate into cork or phloem, while inner cells differentiate into secondary cortex or phylloderm. The cork is impervious to water due to suberin deposition in the cell wall. The cells of secondary cortex are parenchymatous. Phyllogen, phloem, and phylloderm are collectively known as periderm. Due to activity of cork cambium, pressure builds up and remaining layer peripheral to phyllogen, and ultimately these layers die and slug off. Bark is non-technical term that refer to all of the tissues exterior to vascular cambium, therefore including the secondary phylum. Secondary phloem. Bark refer to a number of tissue types which is periderm and secondary phloem. Bark that is formed early in the season is called early or soft bark. Toward the end of the season, late or hard bark is formed. At certain region, the phyllogen cuts off closely arranged parenchymatous cell on the outer side instead of cork cell. These parenchymatous cells soon rupture the epidermis, forming a lens-shaped opening called lenticel. Lenticel permits the exchange of gases between outer atmosphere and the internal tissue of the stem. These occur in most woody trees. 6.4.3 Secondary growth in root. In dicot root, the vascular cambium is completely secondary in origin. It originates from the tissue located just below the phylum bundle, a portion of pericycle tissue above the protoxylem, forming a complete and continuous wavy ring which later becomes circular. Further events are similar to those already described above for dicotyledon stem. Secondary growth also occur in stem and root of gymnosperm. However, secondary growth does not occur in monocotyledons. Thank you.